Tacos?
Nachos, but I think that's an item you have to get up
You gotta
and
get up and go.
physically go up to the stands and get. Okay, I'm going through microphone hell here again today. There we go. We got to do that.
Okay,
We
We're
also
on.
now, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you beautifully.
Okay, I'm working off of a different microphone today. So
Is it a Neumann Telefunken U94?
bless you. No, it's a Klopstockian.
Well, some of the Neumanns, the new Neumanns are made in Slovakia, and there's going to be a shortage of them. So if there's any recording in Hollywood to be done today, get out your old German-made Neumann Telefunkens and forget about those Slovakian cut rate. What's the word I'm looking for?
Speaking about shortages, I have to ask you
How short
before
can
we
they
get going in earnest. I know the mask thing is big in Southern California. And I know that, education and so many different things are, of top of mind in Southern California these days. But it's been about a week now. I have to ask you, what are those unfortunate people who are waiting for Porsches doing?
They're waiting for what?
A Porsche.
Oh, a Porsche?
A car.
Well, they're just waiting. As the television ads say, my dealer made it easy. All you have to do is come by the dealership and sign up today, and we'll make it easy. We'll get you that car.
Well, it ain't working that way, because if you're keeping abreast of the automotive world, which I do, as I do for many different worlds, there is a ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that is spewing smoke and is on fire.
Oh,
Now,
dear.
the 22 crew members on this ship that was scheduled to arrive in Davisville, Rhode Island on Wednesday have been rescued from the smoke, from the fire that's on the ship.
What did they leave behind?
But the 1,100 Porsches that are on this ship were not driven off. Much to the chagrin of probably the people at Porsche in Germany, who said, screw the people, we can get more people. You know what it takes to put 1,100 Porsches together these days?
What a loss that's going to be. And that's going to be a total loss, you think?
Well, I don't know where the fire is in the ship. I mean, if the cargo hold is on one end where they have the Porsches and the fire is on the other end,
I wonder if they have a smoking room.
there might be there might be some, I mean, at the very least, I would think there would be smoke damage. But I have to think that people, let's see, it says, I'm just looking at the article, unclear of how much of the 650-foot, 60,000-ton cargo ship inventory was lost in the fire, and also how the authorities would tend to the stricken ship that now is just floating in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Floating and burning.
Yeah, off the coast of the Azores.
Well, if I was an Azorean fisherman, I'd say that'd be the quickest way to get a Porsche that I could think of. But it'd be one of those new saltwater Porsches.
Well, from my experience I don't know how they, again, it depends on where the fire is. If the fire is away from the cargo hold, or where the cargo hold where those cars are stored, I mean, I don't know if they shipped them in protective coverings. I would think a car like that you would, but who knows? You don't expect for this type of thing to happen, but I would have to think that if you have a Porsche on order from a local dealer, like many in California do, and your Porsche is on a shipper,
you're going to have to wait.
Ship's Creek without a paddle.
So it's interesting. They ship them from Stuttgart, I am assuming, through Rotterdam into the Atlantic. Then they go to Rhode Island where they're offloaded.
Yeah. They go to Rhode Island, and then they are trucked or trained to the various dealerships.
So I would assume that they're in a pretty sophisticated crate of some sort, shipping device.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. I don't know if they're putting containers. I mean, I know some cars are putting containers, the ultra luxury cars
Yeah,
are putting containers and shipped like that for extra protection. Now, I don't know if Porsche does that or not. As a matter
I'm
of
sure they
fact,
do.
I was going to try later today to get on the pipe with somebody from Porsche to try to figure out how they ship the cars. If those cars are in a shipping container, how protected are they? Now, obviously, if there's heat, fire damage, that's one thing.
Oy.
I mean, the shipping containers can get so hot that the tires can melt, the wiring can melt, convertible tops could melt, plastic parts, which make up a pretty sizable percentage of materials used in a car today.
Or smoke or smell damage.
Yeah, right. How much smell damage do you have? How much smoke damage do you have? Are these cars just going to be a total loss and that's it? I'm sure insurance companies will be involved here.
I'm sure they're involved today. In fact, they probably have a helicopter circling the ship saying how much damage there is, or coming to some sort of a conclusion. Imagine.
Well, I don't think you can come to a conclusion until you take them off the ship. I mean,
now, let's say one of those Porsches is yours. You ordered it, you paid for it, you're waiting for it. Do you want one off that ship, or do you want them to send another one?
I don't want any car off of that ship.
See, there you go. Who
That's
does?
because there's bad juju on that ship.
Plenty bad juju. And that ship's never going to sail again, probably.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen worse sail again. I mean, what was that ship that blew up in harbor off of New Jersey, and that thing sailed again? So, I mean,
that was the SSS Al Capone.
Yeah, probably. So ships, I mean, unless they sink them, unless they go down, I would probably think would sail again. They fix whatever it is, clean it up, paint it up, put it back out on the seas.
So those would have to be discount Porsches, and I don't think Porsche would allow that on the market. So they probably will be a total loss.
Well, yeah. Again, we don't know what the severity of the damage is, so we don't know. There comes a point in time where, they may say, we don't want to sell this car to anybody because of the liability.
It's not a real Porsche.
Insurance company may instruct them to crush all 1,100 cars. I remember many years ago, I was at a Chevy dealership in New York, and they had damaged a pickup truck coming off the truck. Somehow the ramp that you see on the back of those trucks lowered, and it took the roof of the truck right off.
Whoa, convertible.
Now, it's not a hard job to put a new roof on a car or a truck, especially a truck, because the roof is smaller. So many people wanted to buy the truck because it was I tried to buy it because it was a really well equipped, at the time, Chevy Silverado short bed. And those are the trucks we used for towing. So I tried to buy it. And I remember they would not sell it. GM would not sell it to anybody. They said it's got to go to the crusher. And you're just sitting there and you're looking at this truck and you go, oh my God, what a waste.
Yeah, terrible waste.
They don't want to be on the hook for any kind of liability going down the road.
And you can't, it wouldn't have a warranty to come with it anyway.
Well, man, you just wouldn't sell it. I think the most logical thing that will happen to those cars, if they have anything more than cosmetic damage to them, will be that they'll all be crushed.
I think we should let the Olympic Court of Arbitration decide who gets these cars, because they do such
driving one. I'll be driving one.
They'll do such a good job. They say you can have one, but you can't drive it.
Here's the thing, Mikey. Is anybody watching the Olympics?
Oh, they are now. After last night.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's the whole China thing, and that it's such a repressive government and so on and so forth. I guess you could say ours is too, in many ways, but it just doesn't. It doesn't have the allure for me this year.
It's got a
that
lot
it's
of
had in past years.
Well, with the Chinese being the control freaks and the Russians being the dope freaks, it's turned into quite a shit show, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened last night that would be making everybody
Kamila Valieva fell twice, was coldly received by her coach. Everybody was crying. She was the one who said who was allowed by the Olympic Court of Arbitration to participate, but she couldn't win anything, so she fell twice.
Right.
And it was quite an emotional, unbelievable. The 15-year-old girl just left to sob on her own with her coaches sitting coldly by her side.
So did she tank it
on purpose? No.
On purpose? No. So she was just
too much pressure.
So it was kind of, in some ways, I guess it sounds like, and again, I'm just kind of shooting in the dark here a little bit, but sounds like it's the anti-Simone Biles.
Exactly. More of the same, like a 15-year-old girl alone at center ice.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that the people who would have sent her there, the Russians that would have sent her, would not have been happy if she'd just stood up and said, "I'm taking myself out of this event. The pressure is too much. The mental strain is too much on me.
The drugs I took didn't help me deal with this."
Yeah. Now, wasn't there something? I mean, I remember reading about the other day that she mixed up her grandfather's heart medication. Was that something
No.
that was just kind of
unless her grandfather was taking some sort of a blood enhancement disease. I don't think so. Unless her grandfather's a 15-year-old skater, that would be unusual.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would be. But the Russians really have a kind of a advanced chemical knowledge of DNA and stuff like that. If anybody
they've stepped in it here, and they've stepped in it, one by doping their star, and two by abandoning her when she needed them, and three the way they reacted when she lost.
But I mean, the reality is, Michael, besides this person's family, probably this is a money-making machine. These people don't care.
You just meet.
You just get together, and if she obviously, after Simone Biles last year, she still didn't feel the safety or the compulsion to be able to say, "I can't compete," or there's something, I'm caught.
I'm out in the middle. Yeah, right. Nope.
Because they'll they may wind up, who knows what's going to happen to her when she gets back home. I mean, if you're a dissident, you're sitting in a park and you eat a tuna fish sandwich, boom, it's laced with poison. Who knows what's going to happen to somebody who becomes an international embarrassment to Vladimir Putin.
At the age of 15, she gets off the plane in Moscow, and it's Vladivostok for you. You're going to love it there. They got a lot of ice.
Smartest thing she can do is find the American camp and go.
Chinese would never let her out.
Probably one of the agreements that they have with the Russians.
Oh yeah, nobody gets out. You said you'd help us. Nobody gets out. Just bomb the whole thing, strafe it.
Well, that's sad, because I hate when sports gets involved in politics
and drug use.
I say, as I wear a shirt that says "Send the beer guy," but I'm not participating in the sport.
And we're not asking him to send the beer guy to the bullpen or to the dugout.
Well, at times I have, but they were smart enough not to
take two beers,
let him throw one over the fence.
Take 2 beers down the crane pool and tell him, please relax.
Although I still can't believe all that time in the Oakland Coliseum and not one player is kind of subterfugely had the beer guy drop him, the sweaty beer guy drop him off a cold one on a hot afternoon.
Who was the player? I think on the 49ers, who ate a hot dog on the sidelines, bought it from the stands.
Yeah. Was it Steve Young?
No, it was a running back, Ricky Waters. Anyway,
Uh,
he was fined by the league, I believe, and by the team.
yeah. Well, that's when he should have went for the beer. If I'm going to take the hit, I may as well.
Well, the controversy was not over the hot dog, is what did he have on it? Because that's how you divide people. Did he have mustard? Did he have ketchup? Did he have relish? Did he have hot sauce? Did he have sauerkraut?
But it never gotten away with ketchup in Chicago because that's a.
Well, this was Candlestick, so God knows what they had. They probably didn't even have anything to offer. We're out of toppings.
It was wrapped in one of those glassine and glassine.
Oh God!
They put them in, and they probably handed him a packet of Goulden's mustard.
God, how could you eat
Because
that?
that was the mustard that Harry M. Stevens
That's Mr.
had
Stevens.
the contract with.
That's who we had.
That's who it was, Harry M. Stevens. Not only did the Giants bring baseball with them, but they brought Harry M. Stevens to the West Coast.
For a while, when they first started playing at Seal Stadium, you could get a seat cushion for a dime or 15 cents. And they stopped doing that because when the Giants would lose, they'd throw their cushions on the field.
Yeah.
And they would sail like Frisbees. I mean, they would never thought, this is great. We're going to make 15 cents a cushion. And then what are they going to do with them afterwards? I don't know.
Pay somebody $25 to go pick them up.
Did it ever occur to you that they would sail like Frisbees? What's a Frisbee?
Well, that was the old days, Mikey, when people respected the field.
It's true. It was the old days.
The old days. They didn't do that at the Polo Grounds, buddy. I bet you Horace Stoneham looked down from his seat there in Seal Stadium. I don't believe they had luxury boxes in Seal Stadium.
They didn't even have an upper deck at Seal Stadium. They didn't.
You know that the lights from Seals Stadium are still
there,
in
right?
use today.
Yep, they're there.
No, they're in Tacoma.
Those are Seal Stadium lights at Tacoma
The
Field?
lights at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma are the lights from Seal Stadium in San Francisco. As on some of the seats.
They should shine on so many stars, is what I'm saying.
There was, you think that the same lights that shine down on Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and
Orlando Cepeda
and Juan Marichal and
not Marichal came up. He was already a Candlestick.
They were already a Candlestick when he came up. All right, so but all those late 50s, early 60s.
Jimmy Davenport, Ray Jablonski,
Dirty Al Gallagher.
No, Dirty Al was Candlestick.
Was Candlestick. Yeah, Dirty Al would have never been able to find his way to 16th and
16th and Bryant.
16th and Bryant, right?
Ed Brassu, Andre Rogers.
Ed Brassu, a former Met.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was a Met in 60.
61, 63,
I think, or 64.
Played shortstop. Somewhere in the infield.
He might have been the shortstop before Roy McMillan. There
you go.
So that would have been McMillan, I think, probably came up in 60, or not came over. He didn't come up. He was a veteran already.
A guy named Willie Kirkland played right field. Oh, Leon Wagner, Daddy Wags, played for the Giants at the Seal Stadium. They didn't need him after they had Willie McCovey and Orlando Cepeda at first base. So Willie Kirkland was playing right field one day, sunny day game at Seal Stadium. A high pop fly goes straight up, and Willie Kirkland never sees it. He's waving his arms right from the beginning. I can't find it. I can't find it. Willie Mays takes off from center field, loses his hat, and at a full sprint, makes it all the way to right field to catch it right off his shoe tops. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen. And everyone could see it taking place. Is he going to get there? Is he going to get there? Will he make it? Will he make it? Mays made it. Willie Mays, the best of all time.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Mays, the only years I got to see him play most days was 73. We came over, what, 72 or 70? I think he came over in 73, came back. And so that was the only time I saw him play on a semi-everyday basis. But between seeing him on games of the week and so on and so forth, and the stories that you would hear from people
Yeah.
that watched him play were phenomenal. I wish in a lot of ways that I would have got a chance to see him, you know, in his prime, other than a newsreel or something like that. Because unfortunately, with those players, unless now you go back and you look for their games or so on and so forth, and luckily there's a lot of games available, you can see how great they were. It's not just legend. And I have gone back and looked at some of the games that Willie has played in several years ago, and yeah, I talked to Griffey once about something, and he mentioned Willie Mays. He said that the way he positioned himself in the outfield is like he knew every hit that was coming.
Yep.
He says, you can be fast, but if you don't position yourself.
He had a head start because he was in the right place.
He was in the right place. He knew the hitters. He knew that. He knew what was, he knew what pitch was going to go, and he knew how to position himself in a way.
And he knew what pitch the guy hit, because Willie Mays had one of the most interesting habits in all of baseball. He never took his eye off the ball. And I don't mean it bad. I mean, period. If you throw the ball around the infield, Willie Mays watched it from first, second to third, back to the pitcher. Pitcher gives it to the catcher. Catcher gets a new ball from the umpire. Umpire throws it to the pitcher. Willie Mays never took his eye off the ball. And when the pitcher wound up, it was his own pitcher, so he knew what pitches he threw. He could tell what he threw him. Was that a curve? Was that a slider? Is that a fastball? Is that in? Is that up? Is he going to be under it? Is he going to be over it? Is it going to be a ground ball? Willie Mays knew the probabilities before the guy ever swung the bat. Never took his eye off the ball.
Yeah, it was.
I'll tell you what was the great thing about Willie Mays, and I just thought of it when I was thinking about the games I went to, the different, both Candlestick and Seal Stadium with my dad. Watching Willie Mays on the side of the field, warming up before the game, just playing catch with the guys across. It was a thrill to see just the way he caught the ball and just the way he threw the ball. Willie Mays throwing you the ball, you have received a gift from a master. Willie Mays playing catch, it is an art form. It is the most beautiful thing you'll ever see, just the way he catches the ball. Nothing escapes him. All the details, all the gifts that he was given by Mother Nature are right there, just watching him play catch. You can't beat it. There's nothing more beautiful on the planet.
I used to love to go to the game early.
Yeah, always.
As early as possible, and
If
watch.
you miss the field, you miss the game. You miss the show.
Yeah, and you don't get it anymore. But, there was a time when you'd go to the ballpark 2 hours before the game, 3 hours sometimes before the game, and you'd sit there. The gates would open for a 2:00 game, 2:05 game. They usually open about 10 o'clock in the morning. And, there'd be like 25 people in the ballpark. But
Right.
you would run down, and you would stay on the rail and watch. First, you'd watch in the dugout.
Who's coming? Who's here?
Who's coming through into the dugout, and who's sitting where, who's doing this, who's talking. You're sitting and you're watching. And then, a couple of guys go up and they start playing catch right in front of you, so close you can almost put up the glove that you brought with you.
Yeah.
They throw me one, and then more people come out, and the game gets bigger, and they move it then out to the outfield.
Here comes the batting cage.
15 guys out there playing catch with each other. And then one guy, and then they have a little, when one of the coaches grabs a fungo bat, they have a little infield practice.
Yep.
None of that happens anymore.
How come?
I don't know. Maybe it's part of why players we perceive don't know the fundamentals of baseball like they should.
Because they can't catch a ground ball.
And I loved going on a Saturday morning, for a day game, which used to start, I think, at 1:30, and getting up and scarfing my breakfast down and going to the ballpark. And if you got there early enough, you could sneak in through the midget Mets gate, and, and just hang out see how the whole thing works.
Yeah. Rolling out the batting cage.
Right, right. They're rolling out the batting cage, where they kept it in center field.
Yep, buckets of balls everywhere, buckets of balls. I wanted so many. I said, look at all those balls. Would it hurt for them to give me one?
Right, right, right. And catching the foul balls that they would hit into the stands. You'd run, with your friends. Every time they'd hit one out, there'd be nobody out there. You'd see 10 kids in striped polo shirts running out. Because we didn't wear uniforms to the game. Nobody wore nobody had a jersey.
Right.
Nobody had a Mets uniform jersey. You wore a shirt, a regular shirt to the game. You didn't. It was such a grand time. And now here we are again, Mikey.
Baseball time with no baseball.
Baseball time, and there's no baseball. And they've decided that
I thought they were going to agree, but now that doesn't look like they will.
I knew if they did the lockout, they weren't going to agree. I had no, and still have no idea of if they're going to agree. I don't think they're worried about harming the game. I think they work under the impression that people will come back to the game no matter what.
So instead of an infield practice, now they're going to play this year without spring training too. Nobody's going to be warmed up. There'll be injuries left and right.
Well, they'll have spring training. They'll probably cut the season short because everybody has now seen that you can cut a season short and people will still pay attention.
Yep. We just proved it.
It's a drug, Michael. Sports is a drug. And this country is addicted to sports. And I'm of the idea that there is just about nothing that a sports team can do to lose their fans.
Like sacrifice a 15-year-old skater.
Well, people just move on to the next thing. It's news for a week or 4 days.
The next 15-year-old will be around in no time, and she'll be the one in the star, and we'll never remember what happened to Kamila Valieva. She'll be pushing daisies in Vladivostok.
Well, she'll probably be a trivia question, although we've had so many Olympic scandals that maybe there's too many trivia questions to be answered. I don't know, in 10 years, she'll be the subject of a Sunday morning segment on CBS. Whatever happened to Vladimir Comstock, or well, she married a young sailor and moved to a farm somewhere in, I don't know,
in the Ural Mountains.
But the reality is in this day and age, now, will COVID have changed that dynamic at all? I don't think so.
Maybe she'll become famous. Maybe she'll marry a general from Slovakia and have
out of the country, because I think there's open passage between
have a diplomatic life in front of her. Canapes and cocktails.
Yeah, but I just don't think that people. I don't know that people care anymore about the individuals that are playing the games. The only thing they want, well, it's like the steroid thing. I mean, how many times did you hear during the steroid thing that, well, if he wants to put that stuff in his body,
it's his body.
It's his body. It's his, it's his choice. He's making a choice. I would inject that stuff into my body if I knew that it would give my family financial security.
But if he helps my team win, I'm all for it.
Right. If it helps my team win, if he doesn't help your team win, well, then you know what? Then he sucks.
Never liked him anyway.
Didn't like that dude anyway. Everybody loved Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh until he went to the Pirates, until he went to the Giants.
And the only people who loved him were Giants fans.
Right. And Giants fans would stand up for him, and
they
many,
still do.
Not all, but many.
They still do.
But I think we're at a point with sports, Michael, where people just, the average person, call me when you're playing.
Yeah. Call me when you win.
On TV, I'll watch it. If the new season of 90 Day Fiance hasn't hit the air yet.
What I do is I buy the package from the MBL, Major League Baseball, MLB, but I only watch them if they win. I tape all the games, but I'm not going to watch it if they lose.
Yeah, but there won't be any Major League Baseball until they settle it.
No.
And Manfred, the only guy in America that we could find to be the commissioner of baseball, it was weaker than Bud Selig.
Biff Jiggerman wanted that job.
But Biff didn't get it. I mean, you never thought you could find a commissioner worse than Bud Selig, did you?
I can't even think of his name right now. What's his name?
What, the commissioner?
Yes.
Rob Manfred.
I forgot it already. What?
Yeah. Go with Biff Jiggerman. It'll be easier on you.
Hey, Biff is really bitter about that. He thought his hat was more than just in the ring. He thought he had the inside track.
So you have a perfect storm for baseball right now. You have an apathetic public. You have a bunch of owners who are going to get paid no matter what. Those checks are coming whether they play or they don't play. Those rights, broadcast rights checks are coming. I forget how much it is, but I think it's in the area of $200 million a team.
So KNBR has to pay for no baseball?
Well, they're in a unique situation because they own part of the team.
The other way around. The team owns part of them, right?
No, I thought it was that they owned part of the team. But again, with all the stuff that changes down there, I don't know if it's the same way anymore. But here in Seattle, the Mariners own a big chunk of Root Sports. So if the Mariners,
Cairo still has the Mariners,
Cairo still has the Mariners, yes,
and they have to pay if they don't play.
Probably so. Probably so. I would think.
So it's sort of like the Dory Munson show. They pay him, and what does he do?
He incites the crowd. They get what they pay for. He incites the crowd. He gets people riled up. I mean, whether you like it or you don't like it, I mean, that's what he does. And he does it fairly well. He's I don't know. I guess I guess he's somebody who knows how to push the buttons.
So he's the ringmaster who brings out the lion, but he lets him eat the beautiful assistant.
Something like that.
Yep.
Well, again, it's this, it's that thing, Michael, of where people create a mess. They don't come up with solutions for the mess.
No, just make the mess.
Just make the mess. It's like Rush Limbaugh. A guy who would spout off conspiracy theories and all sorts of stuff left and right, could never really back it up.
Next day, new shit.
But the next day he had something else going on. He had good writers and they came up with stuff. And for that, think about this. Trump, President Slapdick, awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom and cut money for the veterans and troops.
Well, then what do they have to do with freedom? What did they ever do? What are their ratings like? What lies did they tell? What garbage did they spew? What hate did they facilitate? What mess did they make?
So, I think you have these guys, these populists, people who know how to push people's buttons. They get ratings. People listen to them. Either if you love them or you hate them, you still listen. And if a couple of people are harmed in the creation of this show. Life's tough. Go get a helmet.
It's funny. I was never that way. I would never listen to a disc jockey that I didn't like. Oh, they're really popular. Nah, I don't like them. Not listening. I don't like the way he plays the records. I don't like what he says. I don't like his patter. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his personality. He may be a great disc jockey to you, to me. I'm not listening. I can't spend time in the car with someone that I don't like. That's why I don't listen to hate radio. Hate talk radio, you can have it. KFI, you can have it. KABC, take it and leave it. WABC, my God, what a sewer. No way I would spend 5 minutes in a car with those people.
Yeah, but they have Cousin Brucey on Saturday night.
That's okay. Now that's different. You put somebody else in the chair.
He gets my 5 minutes.
You put somebody else in the chair. I'll driving down 6th Avenue. Maybe, yes, I would listen to Cousin Brucey Saturday night.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where they're going to plug in somebody who is going to get people's attention, be controversial, be who is going to, I don't want to call it make you think. It's going to make you react.
That's right. Make you sweat.
Not about thinking. It's about reacting.
No, don't give it a thought. Just react.
And Dory is a master of that. And that's what today's modern day radio personality has to be able to do. They have to be able to get you not just to listen, but to react. That's what they want. They don't want just somebody who will entertain you. They want to get people to react to something. Will they flood the phones? Will they show up with rifles at the state capitol? Will they stand out in the streets of Olympia holding their guns? Will they, gather together on a Saturday morning and march on City Hall? Will they go to the person's house?
So will they threaten or commit violence on the behalf of the radio station?
Yeah. Well, no, we don't want that. Well, listen, we're just a radio station. We didn't tell them what to do.
No, we just told them what to do.
We just told them how they could do it.
How come no little radio station that broadcasts hate talk has lost their license yet? How come not one has even begun to lose their license?
Because there's no little blue pill for the FCC.
Well, if there was one, they took it. They've been dead for years now.
There's no little Viagra pill to make them stand up and be a man and or a woman for that matter and do what's right. There's no caring anymore of fairness doctrine or this or that. And even if they do find somebody's wrong, what do? They fine them $50,000.
5,000.
Right, well, you know what? That's the cost of doing business.
For having a contest with no winners.
We have all sorts of stuff like that has gone on in radio, rigged winners, all that kind of stuff. And has a station ever lost their license because of it? If they have, it's a very rare one.
It is a rare one. Kissin in Portland lost their license that way. KISN was a top 40 powerhouse in Portland, Oregon. And years ago, they lost their license just that way, having phony contests.
One of the great sins of the Clinton administration is that they deregulated.
Started with Reagan. Reagan said you can own 5, you can own 7, you can own 14. You can be a newspaper and own a television station.
The Clinton administration said you can do what the hell you want.
You can do anything you want.
100.
In fact, let me help you do what you want.
Yeah, let's give you some money.
What has anyone ever tried to own 400 radio stations? I mean, what's the downside? Let's try it and see what happens.
Well,
let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
That's when you get large broadcast companies that take little mom and pop radio stations and run syndicated programming on them. Because and if the tornado happens to come to town, well, there's nobody to really tell you.
Was that tornado our fault? Did we bring it to town? Did we say we want a tornado? No, none of that. When it got here, what did? We didn't like everybody else. We ran for the hills. What are you
Yeah.
going to do about the next tornado? That's probably the last one. I wouldn't worry about another tornado because that was probably the biggest and the baddest. There won't be any more. So why should we have tornado coverage?
I had my
I don't,
arms folded.
I don't see the point. I just don't see the point in having tornado coverage on an ongoing basis. In fact, I don't even know why we do the weather. The temperature is always 65 or close enough.
Well, yeah, Mike. And we all know this. We all listen. This is the fate of radio. This is why radio, in an age where radio should be enjoying this incredible renaissance, this incredible personality-driven, easy alternative to a podcast. You don't have to download anything. You just get in your car and you switch it on. When you turn on your radio, you still hear the same crap that you heard in 1963.
In fact, it's worse.
You hear this, the same people spewing what they spew as we do. You still hear that there's nothing in the radio curve that indicates any kind of growth. Whereas if you look at podcasting, you look at sound and the revolution that has gone through, you can go to a podcast provider now and find a show on just about anything.
And the mistakes they make, Vinnie, the mistakes that are made in broadcast radio are the same that they were years ago. The guy tells me that it's Wednesday. He hopes I'm having a fabulous day. He tells me how long there's left in his program. Got 20 more minutes before the top of the hour. And Bob, like I care how long his show is. He tells me my name is, just say your name. We can figure out the rest of it. And not one idea per break, but 3 ideas, things for me to check out. Check out the thing. We got a free tickets for the blah, 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 blah. Also go online and check out our website because we got a thing there we want you to see that has nothing to do with the show that I'm talking about. And then later tonight, check out something else that I have that I'm telling you about. Just go to our website, or you can listen live right now, or you can stream, or you can get the playlist. And it's like it's a smorgasbord of comical radio errors. It's like there's no growth, there's no direction, there's no training, there's no self-respect.
Well, because
or what he likes. This is one I really like.
Well, you don't have the depth of, in our day, I think you had a lot of people with a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. You had professors, you had people who really knew about the human condition and weren't afraid to voice it, but that doesn't sell well. That doesn't, nowadays, what sells is the guy being able to, the salesman being able to go in there and say, look at what our afternoon personality did. He got all these people to show up at state capitol. And he got all these people to steal tires off of his car. He got all these people to do this, do that. He's number one. He gets people to listen to him. He's the closest thing you'll get to a cult leader. That's why your hand soap should be on his show.
That's why your hand wash at Bob's hand wash at Car Wash and Super Dry.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if I know what the answer is. I mean, I always think the answer is to have people with personalities to talk about interesting things that people want to hear about, or to talk about things that are affecting the human condition that are.
And that's the hardest thing there is.
I don't think so, Michael. I think it's easy. I think
it comes naturally to you.
You educate yourself. You do it, I do it. We talk to people. We try to put our finger on the pulse of what's going on in our communities. And we talk about it. We try to get people to think a little bit. We try to get people to go and read something. We try to make them laugh, make them entertain them.
Information and entertainment. Those are the 2 elements of our show.
But I don't know. I don't know how we got off on this long tangent of talking about radio, but
because it's a Freaky Fractious Friday.
Well, I don't think radio is going to fix itself. I think all these people that write columns about radio can write columns and have great ideas and so on and so forth. But there's only one thing that matters to radio stations: how much money you're bringing in.
How much, what are the ratings, or if not the ratings, at least what are the billings?
Yeah. If you have a station that bills good, you don't care what the ratings are. It could be in the toilet.
In fact, it was
making money.
Interesting thing about the sports format. It was the one format that was free of ratings. If you had billing, if you had ads on the air, the ratings didn't matter. Now, what other format in radio is willing to say that?
Well, you could always hide behind the fact that there's a limited but targeted audience.
Yeah, that's
A
your defense.
limited but targeted audience. But that wasn't good enough. Now you had to bring in guys that, did a little hate talk with their sports.
Hate talk sports.
They were, the disaffected white guy.
The angry fan.
The angry fan. He's pissed off that his team didn't win. He's pissed off that he didn't win in life, that he's, putting roofs on houses instead of being the doctor that his mama thought he was going to be.
And what about these black defensive backs? Their attitude. We don't like their attitude. We don't like the way they play. We don't like the way they.
And you had a president who endorsed that.
Sons of bitches, he called them.
Sons of bitches.
Dog. Sons of a dog.
That's what his opinion was of those players.
And not one NFL owner contradicted him.
And because everybody's getting paid so much money, nobody wants to upset the apple cart.
But there's no apples in that apple cart. It's just a nice cart, but it's got nothing in it. There's no soul, no content.
And but again, you get a lot of people that would argue with you and say, well, look what happened at the Super Bowl. A gazillion people tuned in. Everybody in America is sitting there watching either the commercials or the game. It's like a national holiday. Don't tell me that nobody cares. Everybody cares.
Well, there's always someone to tell you they don't care. I remember clearly when there was no professional football in Los Angeles that people said, you got the mountains, you got the sea, you got the desert, you got the sun. Nobody cares about football. No one's going to come see the football players. No one's going to do it. No one cares. No one wants a football team. No one wants it. What about UCLA and USC? It's different. That's college football. Or we're talking about professional football. Nobody wants it. Nobody's got it. No one's got time on a Sunday to watch a game. Now we got two football teams here with top ratings, with millions of dollars in profit, and nobody wants to see it, guys. Have nothing to say. Nobody asks them anymore. But if this was a town without football, you could get them to talk every weekend. Bob, you're the nobody cares every expert on football. How come they don't care? We got the sea, we got the desert, we got the mountains, we got the sun. Nobody cares about football. What if there were two teams here? Never going to happen. Nobody cares.
See, but now all those people care about the mountains and the sea and the sun and the desert, the cactus and the Joshua trees. They're all happy because now everybody's back watching football on Sunday morning. They can go out and enjoy everything.
The freeways are empty during game time. And why are they empty? Because I told you, nobody cares about football.
Yeah, they're out enjoying it now. Oh, who cares?
Somebody tell the alumni at USC nobody cares about football because apparently they didn't get the message.
Yeah, see, it's like we do this show, Mikey, and we do it because we love to do it. We hope that from that love will stem gainful employment for us. But we do it because we love it.
That's true.
We do it because we want to entertain people. We're entertainers. A long time ago, the entertainment factor left radio.
That means there's a void in the format.
The entertainment factor, the stuff that if you go back and you look at the people who are radio greats provided for people, the people that we listened to when we were growing up, it's not there anymore for a lot of people. It's just somebody bloviating about what they think is right, and you're wrong if you don't agree with them. And there's a ton of people who's going to agree with them, and a ton of people who just call him an idiot.
It started in Slovakia, now it's everywhere.
You don't have people inventing their own countries anymore. It's a shame.
Because there's so many you can invent. There's plenty of room for invented countries. For stuff that doesn't exist, there's almost an infinite amount of possibilities.
In some ways, Mikey, that's why I like doing the car show. It's a very simple thing. You talk about cars. Most people love cars. Most people want to know more about their car. You don't interview stupid sports stars that would rather spit on you than talk to you.
I want to take it one car at a time.
Yeah. Every car in this room is a great car, and there's nobody that we're like a band of brothers and all the stuff. You don't have that.
But now there's a car story when 11,000 Porsches are burning in near the Azores. That's a story.
That's a big story. That's a story that people will watch now because it's tragic. It's tragedy.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah, people love tragedy. I don't know, Mikey. You know what I love? I love meeting up with you every Friday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I love that we go through the stuff that's right and wrong with the world. I love that we get a chance to spend time together as we have, for years and years and years, and that we put it, out for everybody to listen to. I hate the fact that there's going to be an interruption to the baseball season because I think people really look forward to that. The day that pitchers and catchers report, it's a part of our American
Tradition.
makeup.
That's right.
And if we needed that anytime more than we do now, I couldn't tell you what it is because there's a magic about it. There's a certain blending of normalcy to our clock of life.
It makes it work. It makes it worthwhile, and it makes it, you have something to look forward to, and it's going to be there when you wake up, like Christmas morning.
In a world where for the last 2 years, 2 years and change now, everything has been abnormal.
That's the new normal, is abnormal.
We were hoping, I think many people were hoping that this would be that first signal that maybe we're going to have a normal summer. Maybe we're going to have, maybe things will get back to some semblance of stability.
Stability in America is the Surgeon General coming down with COVID-19. That's stability in America.
Well, did he get it or did his kids get it?
No, he got it.
You got it? Well,
and 11,000 Porsches.
I think we're destined that everybody's going to get it, Mikey.
I'm not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
I hope not. But, I can't. I spent a year living my life not wanting to go outside.
I know.
I lost a year off my life because I didn't want to go outside because I was so afraid that I would get it and I would die.
Well, it was a worthy fear.
And yeah, it was a justified fear. And as soon as the therapeutics were there for me to take, that doctors said would give me an ability to go out and live at least some semblance of normalcy.
Fight the good fight.
There's still people I know that I don't know what their full face looks like.
You're not missing anything. I've seen a lot of faces,
There's this woman that works at the Starbucks down a block from me, and I've gone in there a bunch of times over the past 2 years. And I think it was, a week or so ago, I was talking to her and I said, what, I'm a little afraid of this mask mandate. And she said, why? She says, well, I don't really know what you look like. And and see me, what I look like because I wear the mask with the
face on it.
You can, it's not too hard for you to figure out.
Today that really looks like you.
And it's me. It's my mouth. It's just
Well, here's something that goes around and it comes around and it's just like clockwork. Don't ever screw with the bookkeeper. That's how we got Al Capone, and that's how Donald Trump's going to meet his maker too. Don't screw with the bookmaker. Don't screw with him. Same thing.
Yeah. If you screw with the bookmaker, Lenny will come down and break both of your legs.
And Lenny will bring Carmine with him, and I know what Carmine does. It
And
ain't
you don't want to
pretty.
meet these guys. You don't
You
want to
don't
meet
wanna
them in a
meet 'em.
well-lit alley, never mind a dark alley.
Just give Frankie the money so you don't meet the other guys.
Yeah. Well, listen, Trump is a greasy guy and he can slip out of a lot of things. So if I were that family, I would be loading up the truck and headed
Well,
toward Bimini.
Al Capone never took his kids with him, but this idiot is going to.
Well, his kids are assholes too.
Oh yeah, born
And,
to be
it's not
wild.
like now, if they were going to indict Barron, I'd say, well, I don't see this kid jump up on stage and
Nah, he's too slow.
tell people anything. I don't know. If then it would be going after some. But these idiots, they're trying to bang the country out for as much money as they can too. They stole everything they could steal too. I'm surprised they don't have a closet with White House stationery sitting in it that they'll sell to people.
They still got Trump University T-shirts if you want one.
Oh yeah, you can get one. Yeah, no, they're on the internet.
$74.99.
All you want. And so I have no problem with them going after them. I think they should go after them. I think they belong in jail. They stole from this country the whole time that they were in there. They didn't do anything. What did they do?
They had meetings. They flew around. They married ugly, ostentatious wives, and they brought them with them.
It's funny, Michael. I was just thinking about this. Everybody now is upset because the crime rate is up. And it seems like they're letting people out of jail quicker than ever. They're not holding them on bail, so on and so forth. All the Trump people are, oh my God, look at what the Democrats are doing. Look at what's going on. But correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't one of the only things that was accomplished by the Trump administration was prison reform and letting people out of jail earlier?
In fact, that was
Kim Kardashian was that was her thing, right?
yeah, they let her out. Good thing too.
Well, she went up there and lobbied for so many people who were, she felt, wrongfully incarcerated, and Trump loved it. He got to look to, he took a look. He says, okay, I'll do anything you want.
And that was a bipartisan project.
I don't know that it was totally bipartisan. I think there was, some elements in it, but of both parties in it, but it was, and now that, okay, so the mindset is you're letting people, and I'm not saying one is connected to the other, but the same people that supported that in Trump are now complaining and hollering because, the prison sentences are too light, and this people and that people, and they're letting people out of jail, and they're doing this and they're doing that.
Well, politicians don't care if you're innocent and go to prison. There's no distinction there. They want somebody in prison. If you happen to be innocent, that's just your misfortune. And the program to keep innocent people out of prison is not always the most successful one. Putting people in prison is our specialty. Letting the innocent ones out, not so much.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do that better than anybody does it.
Better than anybody. Who wants to go? Nobody. Who's going? Somebody.
Somebody's going.
Somebody's going.
You guys decide. We're taking 2 people with us when we leave.
And we're leaving in 5 minutes, so let's get this done.
So whoever you're going to throw under the bus, you better get the bus started.
Get him by the back of the neck because the bus is starting to roll.
It's just one of those things you look at, you say, I would easily say if Trump and his family would pack up in a boat and get the hell out of the United States, go to Bimini or Jamaica, wherever the hell you want to go, and stop tweeting or doing whatever they do. Take the freaking pillow guy with you.
Please.
Take that idiot with you and get out of the country. Go somewhere where you can live and enjoy your money and do what you want to do.
No, that's a
I'd
fine
say,
idea.
and in exchange, we'll just forget about everything. We'll chalk up the 4 years to a bad experience.
But to save money, they're going to take the boat that's on fire full of Porsches. They're going that's their yacht to Bimini.
No, they're going to sell it. They're going to try to sell the Porsches to unsuspecting people on the East Coast.
Oh yes,
Come to the Trump dealership.
that,
Which
and,
actually is there actually is a Trump. I don't know if it's the name isn't on it, but Potemkin in New York, Potemkin Cadillac and GM was part of Trump's world
never buy a car from that man.
for a long time. East side and west side of Manhattan, in Trump-owned buildings, I believe.
And do they have a dealership in Slovakia?
No, but I'm sure they're rushing to get there because Slovakia's newfound wealth.
They're rushing to get there.
They're rushing to get there.
We're here 3 times a week, ladies and gentlemen.
Try the veal, tip your waiters and waitresses. Please see the maitre d' before sitting down.
You're gonna love the yeah. Oh God.
Yes, the floor show. The floor show never fails.
Have a good weekend, Vinny. Tell us about your show.
Yes, we got drive time tomorrow. We may head out to Shoreline Cars and Coffee and do it live out there if the weather is good. If not, we'll be talking about the numbers of cars that were sold last year. There's a new #1 car in town. We'll tell you who it is. And
an update on the burning Porsche boat.
yes, we'll update you on the burning Porsche boat. And also, new headlights are on the way.
Well, thank
Have you ever
God.
been blinded by the light?
I have.
Well, worry no more. The new headlights are coming that will not blind you anymore.
Stood up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Most definitely.
Let it be. Let it be. I'm rushing to get there.
Mikey, have a good weekend, man. I will see you Monday
Monday.
morning at 10:10 if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.
And there's a big creek in Slovakia. Let's hope it doesn't rise. Thanks, Ben.
The Gudagast River.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Gudagast River. It's a
Runs-
big river, runs right through the middle of Slovakia.
Right by
Separates
Route
the
60.
east and the west, the north and the south.
If you're
Only
in-
river that runs 4 ways in the world.
The four-way river.
Well, that's what Gudagast means in Slovakian.
Four-way river. The river of the 4 ways.
What's really funny is when all the rivers come together, nobody really knows who's supposed to stop and who's supposed to go.
Because there's no river traffic lights in Slovakia.
No. It's a 4-way stop and nobody ever stops.
Yield to the right. That's my idea.
That's what they tell you in the river manual, but it never seems to work out that way.
No, of course not.
Yeah, because you got
They're all
guys from Seattle.
because they're all rushing to get somewhere.
Everybody's rushing to get to somewhere. And everybody knows this is nowhere.
So it is. I'll see you nowhere on Monday.
See you Monday, Mikey. Take care. Remember, Mikey, before you go, peace, love, and of course, Manischewitz.
What a Russian wine.
Ah.